Okay, y'all. So it is Sunday, I believe June the 2nd. And I am still seeing comments where y'all saying stuff about the fisherman from the Michael Miller case. And I know I recorded this interview and I wanted to go over it live, but I only I'm curious, so and I'm not sure what I did with the recording. I probably sent it to my laptop somehow on something and whatever. I'll find it eventually, I guess, or not. But here it is. I'm getting ready to record it for y'all now. Natasha has not gone live on this page. It looks like she has another true crime page. I think this one got banned somehow. Maybe people are reporting it. I'm not sure why. But she did, I think, more than one interview, but this is the latest interview. And it's pretty detailed, so let's let it rock. I'm going to see if I can speed it up some, though, because, ooh, child. All right, there we go. Let's see how we do here, and I might take it up more. I usually like my stuff at 1.5, but I'm not sure if that's going to be great for y'all, so we'll see how this goes.
Be asking him, but I have a list, and I'm not leaving the chat on because I want to be able to focus on area that.
Let's see.
You'll figure it out.
I wasn't lying when I told you that.
You'll figure it out.
All right, hang on. Everybody else already knows that. Don't ask me if you need anything technical.
I just like
done.
this guy.
Okay, so I didn't have time to move the box, so they're just going to have to deal with it. But anyhow, that's I was doing this really fast after Johnny and I got off the phone, so y'all just going to deal with the white box. But anyhow, so I wanted Johnny to come up because I think that some things need to be clarified because unfortunately, a lot of people are making assumptions and claiming things that aren't true as far as he goes and as far as what he saw and what actually happened. And y'all know I have been very...
And Natasha did a great job with him in his interviews, by the way. Shout out to you, Natasha. I'm going to go to her page when we get finished and find out what her new page is so y'all can go follow her if you want. Yes, I know there's some stuff about her on YouTube. I maybe watched some of one, but that's like old stuff. Don't got nothing to do with the Michael Miller case. So I found her through the Michael Miller case, and that's what I'm interested in. I don't got nothing to do with all that other stuff. And honestly, I'm not interested. So please don't come on here with all that because we're talking about this case right here. Okay? All right, cool.
Vocal about this from jump about people accusing him of something when all he was trying to do was help people. So a couple of the things that Johnny and I talked about on the phone a little bit ago. Number one, this map that I have on the screen. So y'all can see it has the observation deck, then the couple in the kayak. I mean, that's not the kayak. They were actually in a boat, so excuse that. But
three people, baby. 3 people was in that boat.
There was 3 people in the boat, and it should be further back into the little part. Yeah.
Yes, so, bring it further back.
Yep, that one needs to go further back. So they were further up in there. So that's where the 3 people in the kayak were, and there was
in the boat, baby, in the boat.
In the boat, not a kayak. So the 3 people in that boat. The reason that they haven't been talked about and the reason that Johnny really hasn't talked about them very much, from what he told me, he never thought that they were really relevant to what happened because he encountered them when he was leaving, correct?
I was in the river, what they call going up the river. I had to turn around and come back, so that's putting me coming back down the river. Where the red dot is at, that red dot needs to be moved back further up the river. Not in the lake, but up the river. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's where I passed them at when I was headed into the lake.
Okay.
You understand me?
I do. I know what you're saying.
And I even talked with them and everything. I asked them, have they caught anything? They told me they hadn't caught nothing, that the water was so high, that they felt like they weren't catching no fish. But anyway, so I left them. Remind you, they're still sitting there in the river. So I went on past them. That's when I went into what they call the lake, the slough. Okay, if you'll notice up there to the left, there's an observation deck.
Yep.
All right, there was people up there on that deck. There was a family. They were fishing off of that deck. It's an observation deck. You got a choice to just observe the water or fish, whatever you want to do.
Oh, okay, you can fish off of it. So that makes sense why people would have been up there.
Yeah, you could fish off of that deck. Like I told you, there was probably 7 or 8 people up there on that deck.
Oh, well, that makes sense why they were up there if they were fishing.
Right. So right to the right of them, that's where the kayaker was at. And just say in between the blue, the observation deck, and the red dot that you've got up there, that's where the kayaker was sitting at fishing.
Okay.
Okay, so I just went on. God knows. Hold on. What have I done? Okay. So what I done, I just came into the lake and I headed back to the back part of that lake. And I just, all of a sudden, I heard a faint, just like a faint cry. I couldn't just tell you if it was a child or a man or one. I couldn't tell you what it was or who it was coming from. I'm nervous, y'all, so just forgive me. I couldn't tell you who it was or whatever. But anyway, I just kept fishing. I kept fishing. Because, you just don't... If I'd have been able to see the girl or Michael or whoever it was at that time crying, if I would have been able to see that person, I would have, tried to find out what was going on with them, but I could not see them. So I went on further up into there, and if you can see the openings right there.
There's 3 of them. Let me make this a little bit smaller. So, if you see the red dot where it says where the fishermen found Micah's stuff, so if you see, it almost looks like mountains, but it's entrances to little bitty areas.
Yeah, there's openings right there. I was on the back side. If you look at that one opening there, that's about where I was at fishing, right there. Okay? When I got to that part, that's when I heard the gunshot. No, she was still crying. I heard the gunshot. The crying stopped. And I just thought to myself, I said, Lord, I hope something ain't happened what I thought had happened. Because, that's just what came to my mind. Still not knowing. But anyway, I just backed my boat up a little bit and I looked behind me. Then that's when the people in the John boat, the 3 people in the John boat, was coming into the lake. And I felt like the reason they was coming in there was because they heard the gunshot. And that's what I asked them. I said, did y'all hear the gunshot? And they said, yes. I said, well, I heard a small cry, a crying. Then I heard the gunshot, and then the crying stopped. I said, I just don't know. So anyway, I just turned and I looked. And if you will look up there, Natasha, up at the top, there's openings. I looked in there, and I said, I can get up in there with my boat. Because I was in a little small one-man boat. Don't know why I did. I just decided to go up in there. So I went on up into the opening, probably maybe 30 to 40 yards or so, and I happened to look up, and I seen Michael's, or I didn't know whose it was at the time, I seen some belongings up on the bank. Poured up to the bank, picked up the stuff, never looked at it at that time. Her glasses was laying there, and her cell phone was laying there. I picked it up. I seen that there was a path that was leading down to where her stuff was at. I looked to the left, there was a clearing. I looked to the right, there was a clearing, and I walked both ways, just a little piece. I never did see anything. I took her stuff, put it in the front of my boat, and got the hell up out of there. I got out of there because I was scared. I didn't know what was going on. People's talking about how I'm seeing people saying that place was shallow. How did he get that boat up in there? This type of boat that I'm in, I had a trolling motor on it and everything. This type of boat that I'm in, I can float 4 to 5 inches of water. Remind you that the water was high. So,
another thing that we need to make sure to clarify and what people need to understand.
The current.
Well, where you were at, where you were and where you found her belongings was not the same. It wasn't the same, like it was more wide open.
Once I got in through the opening, it opened up a little bit. It opened up some pretty big. I could move my boat around good. Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing that people are not understanding. Because if you look at the picture that Micah's family has shown, and the picture the video that I showed tonight of the PI when he threw the stick in the water, you can see you can see right there how much wider and cleared out that area is, as opposed to where her body was actually found.
Yes. I mean, people, you if you don't know the river, You don't know what you're talking about. Plain and simple. You got to know, you got to know the river.
Or a river. I mean, they're all pretty much the same, but you've got to understand how sloughs work. And they narrow. The further you go in, the narrower they get, and the shallower they get, because it's just overflow from the river.
When it get a lot of rain, that fills up. That's where the water goes to.
That's what I've been trying to explain to people, and that's why I've been harping on the water levels are important for people to understand. You know, that just because it's this deep one day doesn't mean it's going to be the same depth the next day.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Will you tell them about the kayaker also?
Well, you remember I told you there was a kayaker in there too. When I went inside and had her belongings, and I don't know why I picked them up, I just picked the belongings up. I'm sorry, people, that I picked them up, but I did. And let me go ahead and remind you again, I did not look in it at that time. Okay. When I came back out of the opening where I found Michael's belongings at, I happened to look and I didn't see the kayaker. I said, I wonder where the kayaker went to. So, I mean, let me tell y'all, he was not involved in this neither. So I said, I wonder where the kayaker got to. But anyway, I found out later that he had left out of the slough and went back into the river. He told me that he got back in the river because he wasn't catching fish into the slough, so he decided to go to the river and try to catch fish out of the river. So for some reason, he said he started hearing, he must have heard the laws coming up or something. I don't know. But he turned around. He told me that he went there and backtracked to where I was at. I said, Bud, you're kidding. And he told me, he said, Johnny, he said, you passed right by her. I said, Bud, you've got to be kidding me. He said, yeah. He said, you passed right by her. He said, but there's no way you could have seen her. He said, he told me, he explained it to me. He said, you know how you see a bag that's floating in the water and it might get a little bit of air in it, and then you'll see a little portion of the bag sticking up out of the water floating. I said, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Natasha, do you know what I'm talking about, baby?
I know what you're talking about. Yep, seen it plenty of times. Okay. Too. You don't never know what's underneath it.
You don't ever know what's underneath it. So I see. I understand what you were saying. He said, but you couldn't have seen it. I said, no, I couldn't have seen it because when I was coming out of there, I was looking straight ahead. I wasn't even looking in the water. And I'll tell you why come I weren't looking in the water. But anyway, I was just ready to get out of there. So I come out of there. But anyway, he said, well, that's what I seen. He said, I seen it like a bag, the top of a bag floating in the water. He said, but what had happened was her body was laid up against a tree or something in the water that had her stopped. And then there was a floating log, a piece of floating debris that was pushed up against her also. He said he still didn't realize what it was. He took his boat, moved up his kayak and moved up a little bit. His boat hit that log. The log hit her body and her foot came up out of the water. And he said, oh my God. He said that's when he realized that it was her. And that's how he pointed it. The laws must have, if I'm not mistaken, Lord forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I believe he told me that the laws was already there. He told the laws, here she is right here. This is her. This is her body right here. I hope y'all can understand that. But, yeah, I couldn't hardly believe it either. I could not believe that. I still, before he told me all that and stuff, I still didn't know what had happened until I had, gave the law her belongings. Now, as far as me making a phone call, listen, you don't have no service out there to make a phone call. But regardless of that, Micah had already made the 911 call. The laws was already there. The law that I talked with, he was a 24-hour law. He was on call 24. He told me he drove 105 mile an hour from Lumberton to get there, so it didn't take him long to get there.
How far is Lumberton from there?
It might take you about 20 minutes or so to get there from Lumberton.
Yeah, that's about
he drove a what? Oh, boy. Okay.
right, because I know they, she called 911 at 2:54, and then they dispatched the officers at 3:05, and it says that the first ones were there at 3:31.
And that's another thing. I got to bring this up too. That's another thing. As far as the time wise, people listen. I really thought it was later than what it was, because it seemed like I had been in that river for a long time, and I had the time confused. The only way that I found out what time that it had really happened was y'all know they're gonna get confused on this. But anyway, the way that I found out what time it really was, I called a friend of mine, and I told him, I said, Charles, I believe something bad has really, a buddy of mine, I shouldn't even call his name, but I said, I believe something down here has really happened real bad. And he asked me, he said, Little Jay, he said, was there anybody in that slough there with you? I said, yeah. I said, there was another fella there that was in a kayak. He said, wait a minute, Little J. He said, was it a yellow kayak? I said, if I ain't mistaken, I believe it was, Charlie. He said, was he a big white guy? I said, yep. He said, I know that fella. I know him. I know who you're talking about. I said, Charles, you got his phone number? He said, I do. I said, well, when I get through doing what I feel like I got to do down here, I said, I'm going to call you back, and I want to get the phone number from you so I can talk to the fella in the kayak. But anyway, I went in there, and there was a black truck sitting there. I pulled up to the truck. I said, sir, I said, do you know what Michael Miller, he had a drone. He had a sheriff's drone on the back of his truck. And let me back up a minute. When I pulled up to the truck, he said, hey, sir, you mind backing up? I got to send this drone off.
Okay, so
and I looked at the drone.
Now, this is the black truck that people were saying that they believe is JP's truck. Okay? This is apparently not JP's truck.
And it was a sheriff's department, sheriff county drone. I noticed that was on there. And,
Okay, that goes on for like a minute, so we're going to fast forward past that. Let's see. Okay.
that was my phone.
Okay, I was like, what is that? I thought I did.
I'm sorry. But anyway, I pulled up to the truck, and I said, do you know what Michael Miller? He said, how do you know Michael Miller? I said, oh, wait a minute, Papa. Wait a minute now. I said, he said he told me to step out of the truck. And that's when I stepped out of the truck, and I gave him my story, this, that, and the other. You know, what happened, what I just told you. I told him my story, and he told me, he just come out and told me, he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. He said, there's been a call that a lady was going to commit suicide down here. I said, man, don't tell me that. I said, please don't tell me that. I said, I had a feeling that's what it was. And then I asked him, I said, well, how did you know about it? He said, well, she had made a phone call to 911, told him that she was going to commit suicide, that where her area, where she was located at, that she wanted her to be able, for her parents to be able to find her quickly. That was the reason why she called 911. I said, oh, Lord have mercy.
So let me clarify something. So you did not look in her bag until you gave it to the police officer?
No, when I looked into the bag is when I was going to bring that up. When I looked into the bag is when I got back to the boat landing.
Okay, all right. After you got back, you looked at it to see what was in it and whose it was.
Well, there at the boat. Have you been at the boat landing, Natasha?
Not that one, but I've looked at it on the maps.
Okay. Well, when you back down into the boat landing, they got a wall, like a wall built on both sides, and I took her belongings and I laid them up there on the wall. I loaded my little boat up. Then I went back to look at the belongings, and it was sort of open a little bit, and I looked, and there was money. I know there was over $500. I'm not going to say if there was more than $500, but I know there was I didn't count all of it. And let me tell y'all this here too. The three people that was in the boat, they were at the landing also.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? The people in the boat that also heard the shot were at the boat landing. They didn't disappear. They didn't run off. They didn't run back up the river. They didn't abscond. They were at the boat landing.
I talked with them at the boat landing. The young girl that was in young girl, she might have been a teenager or something. She was over there off the side. She was still casting out, trying to catch her fish. I remember that. And, that's when I went and took the stuff to the laws, and told them my story and everything. But what else can I do? I've talked with the family, I've talked with the laws, I've talked with detectives, I've done. But the thing of it is, I wasn't going to really talk, but now I'm just got pissed. I'm hurt, and I've got pissed off because people was actually talking more about me than they are the husband.
Well, and that's like I told you on the phone call. That's why I wanted you to clarify some things, because I've been defending you. I've been defending, the fact that
I appreciate it.
You literally did what anybody would have done, and we don't know what we would have done in your situation if we would have grabbed her stuff or not.
And that's true. Y'all, first of all, are talking about him, from what I can see, a lot more than JP. And secondly, we know all of these circumstances now, but given this situation at this time, you don't know if you would have grabbed the bag or not. You gotta kind of listen to what he's saying and then pay attention to where the bag was versus everything else that was going on. It wasn't exactly like near where she would have been and all that. So, I mean, when you out fishing, hey, you see stuff, you find stuff, whatever's clever. You ever been fishing? You ever find some? You ever see some? You know, if you want to make it out to be something, you can try, but you gotta ask yourself. I mean, is it necessary? Is it logical? Can we chop that up to, he decided to pick up the doggone bag. He didn't know what he was finding. That's kind of part of the, adventure fishing, finding stuff sometimes. So
you're not thinking clearly in situations like that. I mean, you had just heard crying, and then you heard a pew pew shot.
It wasn't. Let me tell you this here too. It was not loud. It was not loud, Natasha.
Johnny and I had this conversation on the phone, y'all. And those of you who watch me a lot know that I like weapons.
Oh yeah.
And so Johnny and I were talking about how the weapon that she purchased was a SIG and a 9mm, and a 9mm is pretty loud, especially if you're next to the water because it echoes.
Right.
And the fact that he was, very close to where this happened. I mean, close enough to be able to hear her voice, and the shot wasn't very loud, is another thing that I have.
It's crazy. I mean, it really people probably still won't understand that, but I can't help it. I mean, that's what I heard. That's what happened. And there was another question that came up that I asked myself: why come I didn't hear a splash? Natasha, I could be in the river fishing, baby. And if I'm fishing across the river, I can hear a fish jump in the river.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I was telling you. The video that the PI made throwing that stick in the water was perfect, in my opinion, because it shows people, look how that stick might have weighed 5 pounds, maybe. I don't know, maybe a little bit more than that. I don't know how dead it was. But you heard this. I mean, if you've watched that video, you heard the splash that stick made.
Right. I've seen that video.
Yeah. I mean, you think about Micah weighed 120 pounds.
I should have heard something. That goes back to me saying I didn't even look in the water. You know what I'm saying? I was looking on land, looking to see if I seen anything.
He wasn't, and that's what I think. That's a good. I'm glad you said that. I had it written down. That's a good thing that you said that too, and because it explains to people why you weren't trying to, because you were expecting, if you saw anything, for it to be on land, because you didn't hear anything fall in the water.
I didn't never hear anything fall in the water, never. And as far as her crying, if I would have been able to see her, I'd have went and checked on her. That's the kind of person that I am, Natasha. I would have went and checked on her and made sure she was all right. But people, I couldn't see in the woods. I couldn't. The woods were thick. I could not see. And let me point this other thing out to people's questioning. Because I had made a comment. I felt like Micah or whoever was there weird. I'm not even saying they were somebody weird because I can't say that it was. When I got out on, just y'all people just visualize this now because it makes so much sense. When I got out there on the bank, I looked through the woods out at the slough. Of course, you can see the slough. Does that make sense, Natasha?
Yep.
You can see the slough. Even if it's looking through woods, you still can see a big body of water, people.
Because I think, so what, I guess the easiest way to explain it is when you're going into this slough, what he's talking about is it looks like you can't tell there's anything back there because there's so many like overhanging
trees
and things like that. So unless you're familiar with it, you don't realize that there's an opening back there where somebody could be or where you can go unless you're familiar with that part of the river. So
it's plainly right there on the map. You can see how thick those woods are on the map.
Well, yeah, because even when you zoom in on them, you can't see anything underneath the canopy, and especially this time of the year, everything's blooming. As much rain as we've had, everything's blooming.
Everything's bloomed out. I trust you. You trust and believe me, honey. If I would have been able to see what was going on, I would have intervened. I would have.
I believe you 100%.
I mean, I would have. Just like I told you, just by her crying, if I would have been able to put my eyes on her, I'd have went over there and I'd have said, well, what's the matter, babe? What's going on with you? But you don't do stuff like that. You don't do stuff like that when you in Robeson County or really anywhere on a river. You just don't intervene on stuff like that.
No, I wouldn't have
what's going on.
No, you don't do that here neither. Because you don't know what people are up to or what they got going on.
I mind my own business. I know I sound crazy. I only like my voice on the.
No, you don't sound crazy. You sound like you're telling the truth.
I mean, I'm talking about the sound of my voice and everything. Is what I'm talking about. I know I'm telling the truth. God knows I'm telling the truth. I was put there for some reason. I'm ready to find out what it is. But I know I wasn't put there to be bashed and to be put down and to be accused of like I've been doing. All I was doing was fishing. You know, people had put some ugly. Even on my birthday, I had to deal with a man calling me all kind of MFers and this, that, and other. But you know what? I handled him. I didn't fall out of character with him. You know, you understand what I'm saying? When I got through with that man, he calmed his cussing down towards me, and he understood what I was saying.
That's why I thought it was so important for you to do this, because I know that you've done interviews, and you know, and I know how even when you talk on those interviews, they only clip certain things that they want to out there.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to be able to say what you wanted to say completely for people to hear from your own mouth, and not clip together like, you know, some other places have done. And I wanted it, you know, I didn't, just like I told you on the phone, I wanted it to be just you and me. No, you know, no distractions as far as comments, because I know how that can be.
Oh yeah, I've learned social media, honey. I mean, it beats all I've ever seen in my life. I
Fire, huh?
I know how God felt, Jesus felt now. I'm telling you, it's terrible.
The persecution is something else, because it just takes one person lying on you for people to run with it. And that's why I felt it was important for you to be able to tell these things and clear these things up, so that people will just, you know, I know it's not going to stop all of the stuff that's out there.
No, it's not. No.
But if it just stops some of them, then we've accomplished something.
Well, you know what? You know what, baby? I'm not really, you know, I'm just trying to clear my name. I mean, there's stuff out there saying that I've got a criminal record. I do not have a criminal record. I want somebody to pull up and find out where I've got a criminal record at.
Okay, now here we go with this criminal record. I saw where Kyla posted, because he's going to say Kyla did it. I didn't see where she did it, but I did hear that she posts things sometimes and then takes them down. I'm not sure what her beef is with the fisherman. However, you know, if she did that, that's terrible. There was a woman who came on, I believe it was on this program, and she said that Kyler and her were inboxing, and she was trying to send her some blotted out portions of what she said was his horrible criminal record, and she was threatening to reveal it if whatever, I'm not sure. And you know, she did that. That's terrible. But the man said he don't have no criminal record. Okay, that's something that can be looked up. So why would he say it if it's not true? I just look at it like this, y'all. From my point of view, this is the most important piece right here when it comes to what may have happened to Micah, because he was the person who was there and was hearing. You know, he was within earshot, and he was hearing what was going on. So any particulars, which I have not heard anybody who spoke to him get any particulars about, like say if I was interviewing him, I would have asked him about the cry in particular, how it sounded, how like what was the tone of the cry. Did it sound like a somebody got me cry, or did it sound like I'm distraught and at the end of my rope cry? Did it sound like she was crying out to Jesus? You know, what kind of cry did it sound like? Can you mimic that for me? And did it sound faint just because it was in the distance, or did it sound faint because it was muffled, like maybe somebody's hand was over her mouth? You know, I would have got real specific with that cry, and I just would have asked him some other questions that, you know, just popped in my head. So I find it weird nobody didn't ask him more questions about that. Because to me, it seems like, I don't know, how about y'all? What you think? Do you think the specifics on the cry is something important to ask? See, that's what I'm saying. Even if y'all suspect this man, there is just information that you can get out of him that it's impossible to get from anybody else, because they weren't there, they didn't hear it. I just think it's a bad move. It's not strategic to attack him, regardless of how you feel, you know. So the way I look at it, whether or not he may or may not have, you know, that's kind of something you want to kind of hold back on a little bit to try and see how much information you can get out of him. And once you feel like you can't get nothing else, to work from there. But I feel like it's infinite at the end of the day, because you can always think of something else you can ask, or you can think of something that, after hearing him talk to somebody else, it's something else you want to ask, or something else you find out. You want to go back and ask him something else. You can't do all that when you just make this man defensive, or go in and stealth mode, be quiet, or like you attack him like that, and he definitely don't want to talk to you then. So I don't know what the mindset is of why y'all attacking him so hard, but how does that help when he was the one who's there and he talking? Hello, look at this. He talking. So use it. Get what you can. I mean, it's just a little too late for that now. And plus, let's keep in mind, they're not investigating the death, the law. It doesn't mean that the proper people cannot put together a case to where it's solid enough to where they can take it to the courts and have it, force and demand that it be reopened, because there's enough, circumstantial evidence suggesting that, this really did happen. Although we really feel like it's that we have that already, and for some odd reason it's not happening. However, it still has to be done in a certain kind of way, in a certain kind of manner. You got to get as much information as possible, and whether he's involved or not, he can still help get you that information necessary to push for an official solve. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's just, and I'm gonna tell you. Is it all right if I tell you who did that?
You say whatever you want to say.
Got Tyler, not Tyler. I got to do something about that, because she has put my name through the ringer. She has said that I've got a bad, and then these other people coming on there. Yeah, he's got a criminal record. This, that, and other.
Well,
And really, to be honest with you, baby, the reason I'm sorry to call you baby, that's just the way we do down here.
I know. I ain't thought one thing about it.
But I'm gonna tell you, the only reason I'm on here because I'm pissed off. I'm hurt, and I'm really pissed off, to be honest with you. I just feel like I need to take up for myself on this thing, regardless of what anybody's got to say. I feel like I got to take up for myself. But there's gonna be some suing going on.
Well, I mean, people are very irresponsible on here, and I have been talking about that a lot the last couple days.
And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, and I'm really not trying to interrupt a lot, but to be honest with you, this is also another way of looking at it too. Y'all say he doing a lot of talking, but somebody who really was guilty and involved, hopefully they'd be smart enough not to be doing all this talking, because it's impossible not to give yourself away. So if you feel like he's making mistakes and he's changing his story, I mean, you gotta think with you gotta have the right kind of mindset, to really analyze it all the way through like you should, because it's easy to do that in these situations, like, oh, I forgot this, or oh, I remembered it wrong, or something like that. If you don't write that stuff down right then and there, and who's gonna, then you can misstep a thing or two, like the time of the phone call, and he said he called his friend, and his friend told him one time. They gotta figure that out, maybe, just maybe, because if there's a smoking gun, this is a red flag. I really don't have anything else based on what y'all trying to say, but this time of the call, it just does not match up. So maybe they were discussing something else, or maybe his friend looked at the call log from another caller. Now, y'all said something about he said he removed his call logs. I didn't hear him say that anywhere, but it sounds like he probably did, because why does he need to call his friend instead of looking at call log? So why would he erase his call log? Is that something he naturally does like on Sunday? Every Sunday I'm gonna clean my phone out, something like that. Like, these are questions you should want to be in a position where you can ask the man. He talking. So why did you clear out your call log? You just did it. Why? Because I just did it is not a good enough answer. When it comes down to this day, this happened, something like people you call, who you talk to, and all that is gonna be relevant to it. You don't want to like try to get rid of anything that you may need to come back to, and it may be important to the case later. So what made you delete the call log if that's what he did? You want to be able to ask him these questions. Can we ask him now? Who's going to ask him? Maybe Natasha can talk to him. Because, I mean, they seem to get it off good. But I think he did say this is his last interview. So I hope y'all happy.
You can't put information out there.
Unless you know the facts.
Exactly. And if you're going to talk about something that's not a fact, then you need to make sure that you clarify and say, I don't know this for a fact. This is my opinion, or allegedly, or something, so that other people because if you have an audience and people are listening to you, then they trust you to be giving them accurate information. And it is very important that people don't tell lies. And just like tonight, what we have talked about, and it's very important if you're going to talk to somebody and get information from them, don't lie to them or mislead them, and don't let them know that other people are listening into the conversation, or, don't let them tell them if you're recording them.
Yeah, I mean, that happened to me today too.
It's very important because it completely ruins your credibility.
That was a lie.
And in some states, it's not legal. Just in case y'all don't know, some states you gotta get consent. So you gotta, look that up before you start doing it and posting it. You can get yourself in trouble with the law.
That was a lie tonight, and I'm pretty sure people saying it. Ethan, I did not give. I was really believing that I was talking to one person. Come to find out, she had recorded me, and I'm very upset about that. So here they go on live. Ethan saying that he talked to me. He never talked to me. I didn't even know who Ethan was. Now, I'm very pissed off about that because they put people don't realize it. They put me in danger.
That's true.
Yep.
Like all these other people on here saying shit. I'm gonna go ahead and start it because I'm getting pissed off as I'm sorry for saying the words I'm saying, but for the shit that people's out here saying about me and all this craziness they saying about, they better be glad that I'm not the person that I used to be, because I was the type of person that I would have tried to get every one of you on here and tell you a piece of my mind, not to hurt you, but I'd go on there and I'd give you a piece of my mind for some of the shit that's been said about me. Now, I'm getting a little bit comfortable now, Natasha. Please forgive me. Please forgive me.
Well, I'm glad you feel comfortable enough to speak your mind. Me and you were a lot alike.
Hey, but listen, I want to tell everybody that's listening to me, what kind of damn fool would do something like this in the daylight? People out there looking at him. I'm sitting out there in my boat. I got probably 10 or 20 people sitting there looking at me to go in there and do something like that. In broad daylight. And then leave out of there. Go
10, 20 people? I didn't know there was did y'all know? That's a lot of people. How we stuck on a kayaker, a couple or 3 people in another boat, and him? Who is the 10 or 20 people? Come on, y'all. This man, we should have made him comfortable. We can have all the questions in the world. Ain't nobody else coming forward because they saw how you did him. Now we can't even talk to the man no more. It's sad.
To a boat landing, laid my boat up with logs there, people standing around with a woman's stuff in my boat. What kind of fools would believe a man would be that crazy to do something like that? There's other openings and places out in that river. Somebody was going to do something like that. They damn sure wouldn't go to no boat landing.
Shoot, no, nobody would have never seen him again. And they sure wouldn't have went to the police.
Sure wouldn't have went to, and how many more people would have turned in money?
And they could have.
Amen.
He right
as bad as I need money.
He right about that money now, because he didn't. Everybody, what was everybody saying? How Mike could get that money? Where she get that money from? I said, why y'all count her pockets? But he said she had cash, baby, cash, and he gave it up. What? And he could have slipped out. He know the area. He could have slipped out of there.
I works for everything. Hey, there was people come on there and made a comment saying, boy, he's got him a new car. You reckon JP bought that car for him?
Oh, my Lord.
Sure did, honey. You won't believe it.
That's called working for earning what you got. Lord have mercy.
Something that I've always done. And as far as me bothering people, out here fooling with a bunch. I've learned people a long time ago, honey. I'll sit right here at this house by myself and be just as damn happy as I can be.
Amen.
You hear me?
Amen.
I'm right there with you.
And for somebody to come out there and bless me like they've been doing, saying that I would be involved in something like that, they got me messed up bad.
Well, I try to explain to people that, I guess if you don't understand fishing, you just don't understand. But like I said, my parents fished all the time, and we spent the weekends on the riverbank with, mom and daddy every weekend, and every evening. Sometimes they'd get off work and we'd have to go. And people that don't fish, I don't reckon they understand that that's what you do when you want to go relax and you want to, whatever. Just
that's something I've done all my life. And and another thing, I'm gonna put this out there too. Another thing, when I talked to the Tasha Brown, that's my girl. When I talked to her, I plainly told her, I said, I forgive all of these people. This was at the start of it. I said, I forgive all these people for what they're saying about me. I halfway understand that they've got doubts about me because of where I was. I understand all of that. You see what I'm saying, Natasha?
Yeah, but having doubts and having doubts about something and not understanding it is one thing. But going on social media and making accusations about somebody with no proof to back it up is a completely different thing, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but let me finish what I was saying. Even though I did forgive everybody, this, that, and other, but it kept coming. It kept coming. More mess got being said. More mess got being said. And I said, this is it. I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to quit trying to help, quit trying to be a... And let me tell y'all people something else too. When you get out and start doing people like this, they ain't going to come forward when something happens. I don't blame people for not coming forward because of stuff like this right here.
He's making a good point, y'all. He's making a good point. I am sorry I got to do this narration, but he's making a good point. And the next one could be a loved one of yours. And it could be somebody who heard something, and they done slipped away, and you didn't even know there was a witness because they remember stuff like this. Just saying.
That's exactly what I've said. This is exactly why more people don't speak up when it comes to crimes that witness things, because they don't want to be involved, because they don't want their names dragged through the mud, and that's what happens every single time.
Just like me right now. I don't know what I would really do, but right now the way I feel, if I run across something like that else again, you know what Johnny's doing? He's leaving with a deaf ear. He ain't heard. I'm leaving.
I don't believe you.
No, you don't. I don't either.
I don't believe you. You're too much like me. You're going to do the right thing. You're going to do the right thing.
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Despite what other people try to make it into, I don't believe you. You would do the right thing again. And that's what people who don't understand, there is no understanding it unless that's how you are. You just don't understand the mentality, of trying to help people and do the right thing.
That's just me. There's just people today, I'm getting off the subject, but, back in the day when I was coming up, somebody be broke down with their car, you wouldn't mind stopping and help them. That was the thing. We helped one another. You know what I'm saying? But you don't do that today. You don't stop when somebody's broke down. You hate to go by them because, you feel like you might could help them. Same situation with Michael and me. Now, I've got this to live with. What if I'd have went in there when I first heard the crime? What if I'd have intervened right then? But I don't know. That's just something you don't do. You don't intervene in stuff like that.
Yes, with him saying that, you gotta try, regardless of your suspicions, to put yourself in his shoes. Imagine all he's dealing with. Just because you suspect him, that don't mean that your suspicions are true. Imagine what this man got to deal with. He heard a woman crying in some kind of manner before she was taken off this earth. And then, not only that, he goes on to find out about who this person was and the things she was going through. That makes it even harder. And he was right there. He was right there. And it's not to say that he couldn't have been a victim too if he got involved, or he could have saved her or anything like that. But he was right there. For some reason, that man was there. He's got to live with that. He's got to deal with that. And it's hard to even begin to try and deal with that when he's got to deal with all y'all. And it's like, what in the world? What in the world? I think it's just a bit much, y'all. It's a bit much.
you can't see or don't know what the surroundings or know what's going on. You don't do stuff like that.
Well, self-preservation's a lot. You protect yourself, even though you want to do the right thing, but you don't want to go into something that you don't know what it is, especially in a situation like that. When you know the kinds of things that goes on. But I tell you, and it's just like I told you on the phone. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and that God has a plan for us.
He put me there for a reason. He really did.
I believe it, and like I told you, we may not see what it is right now because I know it seems like you're going through the fire, but I think eventually, I think that you were meant to find her stuff, and if you hadn't of, who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. That's my story. People have been getting on me about where he said 2 people to start with in the boat. I mean, I really don't recall that. I might have said that. Couple. Maybe I said couple. I don't know what I said, Natasha.
I gotta say something else. And the reason why I'm saying a lot, y'all, is because y'all doing a lot. But I gotta make you think. What if he never did to y'all? Say he took a bag while he put his hands on the bag. Bro, if he hadn't got the bag, do you think we know what was in that bag? Think about that for a second. JP got everything. Okay, JP got everything. I heard JP say when he got on that live and they asked him about the necklace. Dang, that was actually the necklace. It didn't look like it to me, but I guess it was turned backwards. But while he was wearing the necklace, blah, blah, blah. And he said they called him and gave him her stuff on Sunday. He said she passed that Saturday. They gave me her stuff on Sunday. Now y'all can go back and listen to that interview again. But he was on what, Justin TikTok page, and he got on when he came at his house that night. It sounded like he was saying he got her stuff the next day. He got a call later on that night. But didn't JP say he wasn't going down there? Isn't that the story we got? So when did he get his hands on her necklace and her stuff? Maybe it's the way he said it and I'm just interpreting it wrong. But the way he worded it to me sounds like he's saying he got her things handed to him the next. Who brought it to him? Because he said he wasn't going down there. Who brought it to him? One of his friends? Who they turn it over to? So law enforcement had to exchange it to him, right? How he get the necklace the next day, if that's what he was saying?
When something like that first happens and you're in sort of shock, I guess, about it, I can completely understand how you probably wasn't thinking about there being 3 people because it was a couple and then a little girl or a girl in the middle of them. So you was probably thinking about the couple in the boat and not the girl. And that's probably why you said, I completely understand how.
And actually, reality, I know, they were irrelevant to the situation because they were nowhere near around it. There's people on here saying that they came out from where Michael. No, they didn't. They were in the river.
Was you there?
They came into the slough when they heard the gunshot.
Right. So it's pretty impossible for them to have had something to do with it if they weren't even in the area, coming from the opposite direction when it happens.
Impossible.
About as impossible as Micah's body ending up in the opposite direction.
Well, girl, I tell you what, you're smart. You're tough now. You're right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, because y'all saying now it was 3 people. Hey, it was a child. Yeah, I'm sorry, but down south we don't count children in grown folks' business. Okay, so it's easy for him to say 2 people because it was a child. Not that the child is not a person, but they not no grown up. And we talking about hearing things like that and whatever. We not including no child automatically like that. No.
Now anything's possible with what's going on with this case. I'm serious. It's crazy.
Listen, I am waiting for any moment for a robot to be seen walking around out there in the woods. All this talking, about AI and this, that, and the other, and it ain't gonna surprise me if I do see a robot walking around out there in the woods.
2 or 3 of them.
Or Bigfoot, I don't know, something. Because, the way that people have just completely, if you look at the facts and the eyewitness statements of what happened, there's a reason that we have questions. But you can't crucify the people who were there and saw the things and try to change what they saw. You can't change what you saw. What you saw is what you saw, and that's what happened. And no matter how much people want to find answers or, find somebody who's responsible for what happened, accusing you of it when you were here isn't going to make that happen. And there's so many other things that people should be focusing on other than the person. Other than the person who found the stuff. What about, how did her body end up 130 feet from the gun in the water?
With no current in the water.
With no current. And
that's why it's called a slough. It's even out there in the slough where I was at. People, I hope you understand what a slough is now. That's where, and the water's calm. To go off, how many feet did you say it was, Natasha? I don't even know.
From where her dad said that from the gun in the water to her body was 130 feet.
That's unreal. I don't know.
I don't. That's like I said. It's like I told you on the phone. I had resolved my.
And just think about that distance in your head. Think about somebody who's real tall, 6'2", 6'4". Now think about 130 feet. That's a great distance.
Self to that she did this herself until that information came out, and knowing what I know about the river and sloughs and currents, and knowing what I know about weapons, that is impossible.
Yes, it is. It is. I was getting ready to say something else. I already forgot. I'm talking so much. I'm trying to forget what it was I was going to say, baby. That water was calm in there. What was I going to say, Natasha? I'm tired, honey.
I know, and I appreciate you doing this.
Ever since this, it's just took a lot out of me. Can I tell the people at least what I done? When I talked with Michael's sister about me calling the law, can I tell you that part?
Yeah, that's fine.
Her sister told me that they were going to close the case on that Tuesday, and I told her, I can't hardly believe that. I said, sir, are they going to really do that? She said, yeah. I asked her, I said, well, who was the lawyer that you talked to? And she told me. I said, have you got his phone number? This is on a Sunday night. I said, have you got his phone number? I said, well, she said, yeah. I said, well, give me his phone number. The first thing I done Monday morning when I woke up, I called that law in Robeson County, and I told him, I said, listen, I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth on this. I said, you can take it as you want to. I said, but I talked with this Martha's, I talked with her sister, and she said that she did not do this. And I really believe her. I said, because I can feel a person out. You know what I'm saying? I could pretty much feel a person out. I could hear it in her voice. And I plainly told that law, I said, y'all need to do more investigating on this situation. I said, because something just ain't right. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that right there, Natasha. All these people out here are making me look like some kind of villain, some kind of killer or something like that. I just wanted to come to an end, baby. I'm tired now.
I know, and I'm very glad that you did this.
It seems like every time I turn on my TikTok, fisherman, it seems like I don't want to make this about me, but it seems like every time I turn on TikTok, it's talking about me. It seems like it's more on me than it is him.
I agree with you.
And remind you people, I have never accused this man of doing that. I never said he did that. Y'all are the ones that said he's done it. I never said he did it.
Well, the fact is, none of us know who did it right now.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows for certain who did it, except the good Lord.
The good, I'm always put him in it. I know I've cussed on here. I ain't perfect. I know I've cussed on here. Forgive me, y'all. I'm not perfect. But he knows. He knows the truth. And everybody out here are going on trying to figure this case out, figure out what's going on. Y'all might as well go to bed and get you some sleep.
Night.
And get over it. Let the laws handle it. That's what the laws or the investigators, that's what they on here for. Let them figure it out. God's going to lead the right person to figure out who did this.
I agree.
And I think by the time they get through with all these other investigations, I do believe whoever, is diligent enough to put everything that's been found up until that time together and bring it to the law as concerning what may have happened to her as far as facts. I believe at that time they're not going to be able to turn it away. because from what we are all hearing, it was too much going on there. And then, from what we understand, Michael was going to blow him out the water. She was going to bring him down. That's motive. That's motive. Yeah. So I think this, investigation to whatever they're investigating, because they had a lot going on, I think that is definitely going to open the doors for that case to be reopened. And for some reason, they don't want to do it. And I think we know why, which means they probably still aren't going to want to do it then. But hey, let them do what they doing, get their charges, take them on court and all that. And, the public knows how to push for them to go ahead at that point and, reinvestigate what actually happened to her, not about her being pushed to do this to herself, because it's clear. It's clear that someone or some people were involved other than her. It's just too clear, and it's going to be even more clear, in my opinion, once they get through checking into everything that was going on, including what she may have been planning to do about everything that's been going on. So I think it's all going to tie together, probably not in the way that people had hoped, like, hey, we got to bust them out on what they did to Michael. That's probably something that comes after the fact. After the fact, and I think it's even sweeter then. All right.
I think, the best we can do is discuss the facts and keep Micah's memory alive.
Keep her alive.
And make sure that people know the truth about what happened, what we know happened anyhow. And
go to bed,
the facts
like
of
he
the case,
said.
not be coming up with crazy theories and trying to accuse people who are innocent of being involved.
You know what, Natasha? Besides Tanya Brown, I wish I'd have never talked to nobody else but you, honey. You're I wish I'd have just talked with you. Because you understand. You understand the river, and I'm glad you had that map on there. I hope that helped the people understand. But I'm glad you had put that map up there, because people had no idea.
No, they don't, and still, even with the map, it's hard to understand.
It's still hard to understand.
Yeah, and I know people who've never. I understand it because I've lived it, but and been on the river and stuff. But I appreciate you saying that, because I try my best to represent things as accurately and as factually as possible, and to be as respectful as possible to the victims and their families.
Yeah.
That is very important to me. And, I appreciate very much you coming up here and doing this, because I know how tired you are, and I know how fed up you are with everything. And I'm very sorry that happened today.
Yeah, y'all just got to take, you don't know everything about everything. And if this ain't, how you grew up, this ain't your hometown, or this ain't, what you're familiar with, then you got to take that into consideration. And you got to pay attention to what people are saying, who was there and who know about it and all that. Because these things are important. They matter. You can't just run off what you're thinking. And y'all need to lighten up a little bit, too. Y'all ain't got to fight up. Listen. I was in a Facebook group. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was in a Facebook group, and I was replying to the ladies. They in there, and I don't know. I think it was about the fishermen. I think they was going off on the fishermen or whatever. And I was just going, giving them a reply. I probably gave like 3 different replies, because I had stepped away from the group for like a day or two, because it just became too much with what they're doing in there. And it's probably a lot of y'all listening. So I replied to like 3 people, And so when I came back the next day, one person replied to me, and she was like, she tagged me, and she was like, she said STFU, y'all know what that means. And then I think 1 or 2 other ladies clicked like on it, and I don't know, for some reason I died laughing. When I seen it, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. It was funny to me. And I'm like, okay. So they was just like, girl, shut up. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, they got their perspectives. I got mine. They got their opinions. I got mine. But we ain't no need in doing all that. You know what we see the content creators do, and trying to post people criminal records or go hard on that one person and do all that other stuff. Sometimes y'all be taking it to the extreme, and you gotta understand that people gonna have differences on how they see situations and what they know and what they believe, and you don't gotta try to battle with somebody or bring them down or discredit them, or go out your way just because you feel like they competition. I'm talking about if you're a content creator or something like that. It's just these situations get out of hand a lot, and it's ridiculous because this situation is starting to look a lot like the Kenneka Jenkins case. If y'all not familiar with that, boy, it's really starting to look like that. Except for, actually, y'all, I think there's going to be a lot of resolve in this case. A lot of resolve. But you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And you definitely got to know when to walk away, man.
That they did that with that phone call. Not everybody's like that, and I hope that I proved that to you.
That was very wrong. I wouldn't have minded being on recording with you or anybody else, but let me say that it would be all right to do it.
Right.
They just done it behind my back.
Right. And ask your permission, or at least let you know it's happening, or that somebody else is listening to it. Don't just do that and then put it on a live and make claims that aren't true. That's not okay. It's not okay, and that's what gives people such a bad taste about true crime creators, because of the way that some people do things, and I don't agree with that. So I appreciate you coming up here and telling your truth and telling what happened, and I hope that this clarifies things for people, and I hope that some of this mess, I hope, dies down for you. Because
my life's changed. I mean, it's made a complete U-turn. And then as far as me, talking to the people, like I'm saying, people, I hope y'all honest. I appreciate the people that has believed in me. I really thank y'all. From the bottom of my heart, I really thank y'all for at least trying to back me up. 100%. I love y'all. Johnny, I love you, honey.
I can listen to this man all day, but Johnny, I ain't gonna lie. You was kind of on my suspect list too a little bit, but I didn't do all this stuff that everybody doing. I think it's too much, so I backed you on that. But I did look at you sideways, and I'm not saying you completely off the hook in my book, but I do believe more so that his story, he was just somebody who happened to be there that day. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Unless y'all got some like, something extreme. How can it be otherwise, honestly? He wouldn't be this involved, y'all. He wouldn't. I don't think so.
Oh, yes. Joni is awesome. She has been your biggest supporter, let me tell you.
That's my girl.
She has been keeping me up to date, and she went to the park for me and took videos and pictures and stuff, and she has been awesome, and I so much appreciate it. But I don't know. I hate that we couldn't have gotten together back the first time that we talked, but like I said, everything happens for a reason. There's a reason that it didn't happen then, and that you're here now, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I hope that people have actually listened to what you've had to say. I know TikTok lives aren't saved, but I'm going to upload this to my Rumble and my Twitch, so that way anybody else that has questions or needs clarification on the things that you've made clear, they.
So why aren't I know they want to be have differences from other platforms. How does the content creator have to record it themselves while they're doing the live so they can upload it? Like, how does that happen? Because if it's not saved, it's just saved for the content creator. Do they have the ability to make it public and stay up there? I mean, I got questions. That's just, why are you gonna do a live? This ain't Snapchat.
Listen to it there and know that these are the answers to these questions, and stop saying otherwise.
I'm through. I'm through, Natasha. I feel like you have helped me out here a lot. There's nothing else I can say. There's nothing else I can do. I'm just through. Okay, baby?
Well, I think, and honestly, Johnny, you should be. You shouldn't have to be going through this every day. You shouldn't have to be trying to clear your name. You shouldn't have to be worried about, people accusing you of doing this mess. You just shouldn't. And I said this the other night. Those people that were in that boat, the 3 people, there ain't no way in hell I'd come forward if I was them. Look at what's happened to you.
And listen, as far as those 3 people, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I got to thinking about. I said, I hope these 3 people, I wonder if they're keeping up with this case. And if they see where they're getting a part of this, I said, I hope these people don't think that I'm talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying, Natasha?
Yeah, but I think they've seen, for themselves. Because when people, there's just so much speculation about, the fact that they.
Yeah.
And I've tried to clarify it. If I have said one time, I've said it a dozen. No, Johnny said they were at the boat ramp. They didn't leave. They went back to the boat ramp.
They was there.
It's just, and that's why I wanted it to come from your mouth, because I can say what you tell me all day long, and people will say, well, how do we know he really said that? She could just.
There you go. There you go. There's going to still be people even now. There's going to still be people saying something negative. But I'm not listening to it. I'm through. I
think that's the best thing. I think that, you've put the truth out there. You've told everybody exactly, from start to finish, what happened and what you saw. And at this point, give it to the good Lord.
That's what I've done. That's what I said I was going to do. I got a good preacher friend of mine. He's been on me and on me. Leave it alone, Johnny. Leave it alone. But did I mention about the time?
Oh, no.
Okay, let's get on this time thing.
All right.
Yes, I might have misinformed about the time. I got in when I put it into that river, Natasha. It was probably around about 10:30, 11:30. Remind you now, I went way, way up that river. And when you're on a boat fishing, time flies by.
I tried to explain that to you.
Time flies by. And I didn't even look at no clock or nothing like that. I was going by the time that I got home, after I got through talking with the laws and everything. So I got home probably, I believe I remember looking at my clock, it was about 6 o'clock. And I knew I hadn't been gone for 2 hours, because I believe I said 4 o'clock.
Yeah, you said around 4.
Okay, now I was trying to figure out really what the time was. I went another route. You remember the fellow that I told you I talked to about the kayaker?
Yep.
I went back to him. I said, Charles, would you look on your phone and see what time it was when I called you? He said, let me call you right back. He called me right back. He said, Jay, he called me Little Jay. He said it was 1:27. When I said, do what? He said, yeah. He said it was, man, I couldn't hardly believe it. I couldn't tell,
Hold on. 1:27.
He said it was 1:27 or something like that when he had called me, yeah.
Because she didn't
let me say this. I'm about sure that's what he said now. It seemed like to me it was 1:27. I can go back with him and verify that too. I'm hoping.
Go back and verify and then let me know, because she didn't call 911 till 2:54.
Okay. Like I said, and people are going to say, well, how'd you get a service? I was away from the river at the time when I called him. That's how I got service. To be able to call him. Did I even say anything about the service in there too, Natasha?
We talked about that.
Okay.
Now, is there service in the parking lot, or is it just actually when you get out? Because I know when Joni went out there, I could hear her when she was in the parking lot somewhat, but the further she got, forget it.
If I'm not mistaken, remember when I told you I talked with her sister and everything, I told him I'd meet him out there? If I'm not mistaken, I believe that you could at least I don't know how clear it would be, but where Michael's car was at, where her car was parked at, in that parking lot, I think that you probably could have got a little signal there and talked. But I remember people talking about that they weren't getting no signal,
Yeah, and it depends on, because I know I had 2 different people go out there, and they had 2 different kinds of cell service, and neither one of them could get a signal. Once you got on those paths, you can forget it.
Well, and another thing, if you go back to the call that Michael made, where did she make the call at to be able to get good service like that?
Well, and that's what I'm saying, because where they pinged, where her phone was supposed to be located when she made that phone call, on this map, it was up at the top of this square to the right.
Good gracious alive.
Now, how in the devil?
I
don't know either. So I'm thinking, and it's weird if that is where it was, because it's so close to the other, where she was. But was she really way up there? That's what I'm saying. It don't make no sense.
I don't make a bit of
And
it.
there's no background noise when she calls, and it's loud as the devil out there.
Had to be.
Every critter in the world is out there chirping and croaking.
When I was listening, because y'all know I'm from that area too. When I was listening to that 911 call from the very beginning, as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, it sounds like, and if you go back and listen to it with what I'm saying in mind, it sounds like somebody who trying to just hurry up and make that verification. I want to hear from you that you can, pinpoint where my phone is, right? When she said, I forgot what she said, but she didn't say Lumbee or whatever, or lumber. She may have been more so at that spot, and that could have been, some sort of a giveaway. However, she wanted the operator to tell her, yes, this is where I'm picking it up at. This is where I'm picking it up at, to be sure. For some reason, it was important to make sure that they pick that phone up pinging there. I think that that's an important task to remember. But as I'm listening to how the call went, I'm trying to be patient, but kind of anxiety, because I just want to get this phone call over with, because I know I'm not going to be able to use the phone once I carry on with my adventure where I'm going. That's the kind of vibes that I was getting from the very beginning. I did not know that Micah didn't know that place. She wasn't familiar with it. She didn't know she couldn't get a signal. But when, it later came out that the phone was over here, she's over here, blah, 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 the bag's over here. I'm like, all this stuff don't make no sense. Now, I never went with the AI theory. However, I believe that she was made to make that call. I believe that whoever had her or was with her told her to do that. And they were standing there trying to make sure that she did it. And she probably understood why at the time, because they were going to have to leave that phone there. And I don't know about the scattering. I think the phone was left there intentionally so they could ping it. But as far as the bag and all that, I think maybe that was it, because it's like, you gonna know that you dropped the bag. And then for it to have the money in it too. We don't necessarily know that Micah had that money on her, or it was placed in her bag before the bag was left there. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it. Because the whole story about, she stole the money and all that. And I don't know if anybody's ever gotten down to the bottom of that. I'm talking about official facts in black and white. Because I know the family has spoken about the money, or the possibility of what that money could have been about. But there's still, I haven't heard any concrete, evidence is brought forth about where that money would have came from, and what was the money that he was talking about that so-called got stolen. I think he wanted her to be found with that cash on her. And I think also her paying the car insurance was something she knew she needed to do, because, was it the taxes? Whichever one it was, she knew that was a responsibility of hers, and she had been going through financial restraints, as people were saying. And however she got her hands on some money, she said, okay, now this is one bill off my back. That's important. Let me take care of that. I think that's just another proof that she, definitely had plans on living. But I'm thinking, however she got that money, JP had a hand in getting it to her. Even if he did it through somebody else to make it seem like, they let her borrow it or however that went down. I think he wanted to make sure that she was being able to be tracked. Okay, she dropped this wad of cash on the car insurance. How she get that money? Oh, she had this cash in a bag, so she was a member. He said she cleaned out my bank account and just left me. That's it. That's what he told people. But he didn't tell people she left him because she needed to leave him, and the divorce needed to happen. And I'm divorcing you, and this ain't no I'm running, I stole money, I'm running. No, she served his ass with the this boy, he really act like all this stuff wasn't gonna come out about him. Child, please. But what y'all think about the money? Do you think that somebody put the money in the bag? Which is another reason why I think the fisherman, and his story and him bringing that money in that bag back is important. If he'd have kept the money, we wouldn't have heard about the money. But we heard about the money. Now, I know y'all can say that he's stressing the money. He bought the money back, of course, because that's part of the ultimate diabolical plan. And I get it. But I don't think so. I think God is working, God is working. So, I don't know.
And, birds is singing.
Well, you heard my interview. You could hear birds, and I mean, I heard it. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. In hers, you don't hear one thing, nothing.
No, you didn't hear nothing. But I'm gonna tell you what. I don't know what's gonna come out of this with me. I'm in a situation. I don't know. I just don't know. Y'all pray for me.
Well, I'm definitely gonna be praying for you, and I
didn't want to do this talking, but like I said, I've got fed up with people. I feel like I had to defend myself, Natasha.
I know.
I like
that.
And
it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. But now I just got to the point where I got to speak up for myself.
I'm glad.
So y'all was there any clarification? I skimmed over Tasha's TikTok. I didn't see anything. I'll go back. And she did post that she has another crime channel. Again, I'm going to make sure I show y'all what that is in case you want to go see what she has posted up about this recently. But I haven't seen her post any clarification about that time that he's supposed to talk to Charlie, or whatever. I know that he said he was going to get with him to re-clarify that and get back. So that's a pretty important part right there.
That you did. And I made notes when we were talking of everything that you told me. So if anybody asks after you get off of here certain things that you and I've already talked about, I'll clarify those things. Because, I'm not letting people up here. I told you that it would just be me and you, and I meant that. That's why I shut the comments down, because I didn't want you to be bombarded, and I wanted you to feel comfortable talking and saying what you had to say. So I appreciate very much you coming up here. And I know you're tired, so I'm gonna let you get some sleep, or try to anyhow. And if you need anything, you can call me.
If you need me anymore, you call me too. I'm not talking to nobody else but you. That's it.
I will, and I'll get up with you so we can plan when I come up there.
That sounds good.
Y'all start reporting her pages. What's going on? Why y'all doing that? Why y'all getting her? She ain't talking to nobody but Natasha now. Is that why y'all report? Hey, cut that out. Cut it out.
If you want to get on that bass, I can't put you on that little boat, but I can put you on my bass boat. I can't get up there in there with that boat, but
yeah, I know.
I can at least get you out there.
I ain't scared. I'll wear some waders. I ain't worried about that.
I know that's right.
All right.
Thank you, baby.
It, Connie. Yes, thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So that was a good one. Okay, you got about an hour there. That was good. Let's go see where her new page is. Okay, so as soon as I open up TikTok, this is what I came to. Okay, this person is talking about Micah. Micah's case is from 2 days ago, and they're saying that the PIs did an interview with the fisherman. I haven't heard that interview. She's talking about him leaving, coming back in the car and all that, and now I'm pretty sure that's been clarified by now. Okay. However, he did leave with her stuff. Now, Natasha did a live after the live with the fisherman. I'm not gonna play it. It's long, but she just telling people off. I like that part. But she said he left because he's a smoker. The situation had him nervous. He wanted to get a lighter from the store, and he had a lighter, but he dropped it in the water. She said he was only gone for, I want to say she said around 9 minutes or so. However, she's saying he wasn't gone long. Now, I'm looking in the comment section here. Somebody said, I'm not sure exactly what path her belongings actually took. I'm not sure what that means, right? But the rest of it, he had her belongings for how long? Went to the store, had apartment keys, personal phone, ID, money, cards. Let all that sink in. I remember him talking about what he saw in there. He did say wallet, blah, blah, blah. I don't think her phone was in the bag. I don't think she had 2 phones. And the phone she was on was found on the ground. So, not the phone. But I get what you're saying. Why would he leave with her stuff? Did he make a copy of the key? Did he... Okay, I guess you're assuming he probably erased something from the phone, did something with the phone, but I don't think he had the phone ever. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. However, I know Natasha says no big deal. He left with the bag. She told him not to tell that part. I don't agree with her telling him not to tell that part. Regardless of what people are going to do, it's still an important part that he left with the bag. Now, we don't got access to him. But if, let's say we did, what questions will we ask? When you left with the bag, was this before or after you ever saw any cop? Let's say I found the bag after, he heard the gunshot, he heard the cry, he heard the gunshot, and he rolled back or whatever, didn't see nobody. He eventually saw the bag, right? He grabbed the bag. Yes, he reasonably should have suspected that the bag probably was attached to whomever that was or somebody who was involved with whatever just happened. So, yeah, don't leave with the bag. Okay. But did he leave with the bag before he ran into the cops? I'm thinking probably not, because he said when he saw the cops and he asked, do you know Micah? They said, what you know about Micah? Blah, blah, blah. And they got to talking. So him explaining how he knew Micah was, I got this bag. It's got a wallet in it. And the ID says Micah. So I think when he talked to them, that's when he gave up the bag. So when he left with the bag, I don't think he had already talked to the cops and just kept going with the bag. And then when he came back after he ran through it or made a copy of the key or whatever he could have did while he was out, then gave the bag. I think he, probably was nervous, wanted to calm his nerves with some good old tobacco. And came back, and then he saw the cops. Because remember he said he pulled up, he saw the black truck. He went up there to ask him. Dude said, hey, I got to fly this drone. Can you back up? They got to talking. And I think that's when the turning in of the bag came in at. She asked him in this interview about when did he go through the bag. And I can't remember what he said. I think he didn't go through the bag before he went to the store, according to him. Am I right, y'all? Because I don't want to go back and look. But y'all just heard it. I think when she asked him that, because it was kind of early on in the conversation, he said he hadn't looked in the bag yet. But did he look at it in front of the cop? Oh, he said when he got back to his boat. Yeah. So he looked through the bag before he left then. Yeah, because he said when he went and docked his boat or whatever, to his boat, put his boat up, that's when he looked through the bag. So he did look through the bag before he left. So I kind of get why you guys might be a little more suspicious about him leaving with the bag, given all that's going on with the case. So, hey, I mean, I understand that. And I'm not going to try to defend that man on that. I'm not. I mean, I understand the nervousness, needing to smoke, blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But, you got a bag that's attached to something. It's one thing to grab it. And I see why people saying that. Because, maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. Some people would, some people wouldn't. So that one to me is kind of, it could be here or there. But going through the bag and then still leaving, I would want to try to find the cops before I leave. Because it's not crack. I mean, it's a cigarette, y'all. So, the fisherman has been proven to be related to Jay. What? Why people saying stuff? There's a video that came out yesterday. Somebody literally just posted this. Did y'all hear about that? Because it would be all over, wouldn't it? The fisherman is related to JP. I just listened to a whole live with the PIs and everything, and nobody said that. Nobody. I don't even think the fisherman really came up in that interview. So that's got to be a lie. I'd be curious to find out what tree the bullet was in. Did it go through her head into the tree? I would like to know the tree, her body, the blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah. I don't think we have any concrete information on that either. So some official clarification at some point, I'm sure we will get it. But if we don't have it right now, I mean, we specifically aren't working the case. So we got to keep in mind some information is good for us not to have. Because if everybody got it, then whoever's on the defense, they got it too. So you just helping them get prepared for their case when you tell them everything. I'm just saying. What else they saying? What if the supposed officers were really not officers? I don't know anything about that one. Because I can't verify that he said they wasn't in uniform. I know he said that truck was not clearly marked, and we saw that it wasn't. I know he said that. Could they be twisting that? Probably so. He said they can get the cell phone info of anyone carrying a phone in that area. Simple geofence. We'll take care of that. The truth will come out. He said, how did he know they were law enforcement? That seems strange. No, it doesn't. He lives there. That's his area. He know how law enforcement roll. You don't know what law enforcement look like in your town. I'm from North Carolina, lived in different cities in North Carolina, and Lumberton was one of the last ones that I lived in. And I'm telling you, down there, they do a lot of plane cars, plane trucks, undercover, whatever. And we know them when we see them. Okay? Y'all city boys might be in their cars with the lights and the stickers and all that all the time. We know them when we see them. Okay, so why was it bent? People keep saying that, but I haven't seen anything that says that GUN was BENT. A SIG was bent. Nah, baby. The PI's calls what? That's a proxy, or in simpler terms, harassing someone until they committed. This person didn't mean to say PIs. He said lock them all up, including the one who hired them. I don't know. They just probably botting today. All right, so here's Natasha's page, and she's posted Allison's case files. where she got custody of the children. I know y'all done already listened to content creators read this, so we're not gonna do all that. This is not what this video was about. But if you didn't hear it or you didn't see it, it's on Natasha's page. I'm sure others have it. They even read it for you, so you shouldn't have any problem finding that. But it's long. I'm gonna skip over that because it's not relevant to what we're doing.
Hey y'all.
Here we go. True Crime Queen. True Crime Queen. So that's on TikTok. Okay. Follow. Is it on Rumble? Is it on... Was she on YouTube too? Let's see. On Rumble, I see 2 True Crime Queen channels, and they only have like one has 1 follower and another one has 2. I don't think it's her because she already got her thumbnail and everything prepared, like her avatar. So I think she would have dressed it up, and I think she has loyal followers. They would have been there. So maybe Rumble, when they ban you, they don't let you come back in any kind of way, or was something like, I don't know. She don't want to go to Rumble right now. I'm not sure, but we can check YouTube and Facebook. Okay, so I found her on YouTube. I traced it back to her TikTok. So here she is right here, True Crime Queen. The @ seems to be just True Crime Queen. All right, capital T, capital C, and capital Q. So she got the like she had this page already from somewhere, and she's been on here since July 20th. So you guys can find her and know that this is her page. She's got a TikTok up here, the Anchor, Spotify, and she didn't post an Instagram. So if she had one, I'm pretty sure it would be up here. You can see this woman looks black. That's weird. Sitting in a chair with a black dress on. And when I traced it back, when I click on the TikTok, it went to Natasha's new TikTok. See? This her TikTok right here. See? Okay. So that's gonna be,
Please make sure to go and follow.
so this must have already been like her old backup channel. Let's see if we can find her per se, because I don't see anything in the description that says Natasha or whatever. But I think this is it, because sometimes people hurry up and try to like clone you so they can snatch up half your followers. I don't know about any of her content outside of Micah. This is all old stuff. So I don't feel like clicking no video. Let's try, which one? Spotify? And see what happens. See what we get. Only one. So this is from April. Let's hear what this voice sounds like.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm the True Crime Queen. You're listening to the Crime Queen podcast. I make podcasts about celebrities, controversial cases, and other spooky content.
Something told me to check this out. So this is not Natasha. That's weird. Cause baby, Anchor and Spotify is now the same thing. Spotify bought them out. But let's see what happens when we click on this. Same. Yeah, because this Anchor and Spotify is not the same. Let's go back to this YouTube again. Damn, what happened? Now I put in True Crime Queen. That's all. That's the only one that came up right here. Let's go back to a page. Go to the About section. How is this TikTok coming up to
channel True Crime Queen? This channel got a 7-day banana, so I can't go live here till the 4th. I went live on that other channel last night, and I'll be going live there. And the timeline.
I paused the wrong thing. This is weird because it shouldn't have came back to here. So it's probably just a glitch in the system. So I cleared TikTok out. Let's see what happens again when we click on this. I don't know why it's not opening up the app instead of going through the browser, but we don't rule. We don't rule them AI people. They rule us. So that's how that works. So now you don't want to do it at all. You're trying to be funny. Well, why don't you open up in the app like you're supposed to? See, now you're playing with me. See, that's what I'm doing. They mad. They mad because I keep shutting them down. Okay? Edge. What's the one? What's the AI Edge got? And all the AIs. I be trying my best. I can't get Facebook ironclad. I be like, Meta, will you go away? And they be like, I'm sorry, I don't have the kid. Oh, I got a video I need to show y'all. It's me having different conversations with these different AI bots, y'all. It's wild. It's wild. See how it's doing? Okay, however, this is not her channel. Maybe she doesn't have a YouTube channel. So let's hear it in her own words. Oh, I gotta watch these videos. What? Rapper eats roommate. Huh? Girl, I'll be back. That's so weird.
Say a couple things because things have gotten so completely blown out of proportion. The fisherman, Johnny Jacobs, did not leave the park and come back in a different vehicle.
Yep. There you go.
He left to get a lighter at the closest gas station and then came directly back in the same vehicle that he left in with his boat in the back of the truck. When he talked to law enforcement, he pulled up next to them in that truck. They know what vehicle he was on. As far as this maintenance worker at the park who states that he came back in a different vehicle, he did the next day, but not the day that this happened. Now, as far as this rumor that there is a picture of Johnny the fisherman with JP, not true. If there is one floating out there, somebody made it. There's also not any recordings of Johnny's voice where he hasn't been doing an interview. Johnny's story hasn't changed. The only thing that he has said that's any different is that the two people in the boat are three, because he didn't think about the little girl that was in the middle of the boat. That's it. Every single person, the people in the boat, the kayaker.
And I'm saying because that's what I said earlier, not that I'm vouching for what, because I mean, I heard what she heard. So, I mean, I guess. But the time, though. We got to get some clarification on the time. Natasha, if you're watching this, darling. Matter of fact, let's go to her new page. Which one is it?
Open your eyes.
Oh, I know. I just don't understand. Why ain't nobody post this interview? Why y'all ain't post this interview? Because y'all like Kyla. That's okay. If y'all like Kyla. But this is Micah's sister. So why y'all ain't post this interview? I'm going to post it. Okay? Big baby gonna shoot. You understand me? Yeah. We'll talk about that. Come on, let's go.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, I'm clicking it like it's gonna click for me. So how do we get here? Hold on.
Hey y'all, please make sure.
There we go.
She responded to emails. She said she'll send it to the PI.
Okay, so I think what people are upset about is instead of putting it on Facebook for everybody to see, just send it to the family and not say anything.
I did.
But is it on Facebook also?
No.
You just said it was in your post.
What's in my post?
That's what I'm asking
about
you.
the connection between JP and the fish.
What's this? Getting butthurt and retaliating against people is juvenile messy behavior. Lying about what someone did to make yourself feel better is childish. Using Micah's name and truth to do it is abhorrent. What did I miss? Truth Micah Miller. Who got a boy. What y'all doing?
Oh, that is on my TikTok, yeah.
Well, right, but I'm saying instead of putting it on there so everyone can get all riled up, just send it to the
Everybody's
family.
posting everything. Come on.
I'm not.
I mean, his girlfriend's literally on there, like, attacking people. So, I mean...
His girl.
I get it, y'all calling him. I know why y'all are calling that woman his girlfriend, because he said that's my girl. Baby, he don't mean his girl like his woman. I mean, Johnny can correct me if I'm wrong. She can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think I know that kind of talk. He don't mean it like that's his girl. Y'all so weird. They don't go together.
Would you not be if somebody was, going after the person that you're involved with?
Oh,
I didn't
boy.
Would you not be?
I didn't jack some woman who's screaming stuff.
She wasn't screaming. He didn't hear her screaming.
He heard her crying and he took her stuff, so...
He didn't. Wow. You got upset
Wow.
because this woman came after you, and now you're going after her and him in the process.
No,
This
I'm
is what
not.
I'm talking about. That's why you did it.
This
That's why
isn't
you were-
retaliation, Natasha.
Yes, it
Somebody
is.
sent me this.
That's why you got involved with her, because she went after you on a post. You just said
I'm just
that.
going to block you again, because I don't even like
care.
your stupid fat
I don't
ass.
like you.
Oh, no.
Good.
You have to call names now? Really?
Yeah, y'all gotta stop this
Wow.
now.
Yeah,
That right there should tell you all you
that's
need
it.
to know.
That's all I needed to hear. I will not have that on my freaking live. I'm literally
Wow.
I will not have that on my live. I do not talk to people that way. It does not.
I was nothing.
I don't even know who she talking to. I don't know these people like that. We just talking about Micah. But just because you disagreeing with her, damn, that was cold blooded. Come on, y'all. Y'all can. It's bad. It's a bad look. It's a real bad look, y'all. It's a real bad look. Content creators do this all the time. It's like when there's mass coverage of the same subject, and this is true crime, so of course it's gonna be mass coverage of the same thing. There should be no competition, but at the same time, some of this is not necessarily just competition. It's a lot of people not having any decorum. Like, y'all gotta chill, man. You can't be going after everybody. I know y'all saying that the woman, she be wilding out on y'all asses. She do. That I seen on the Facebook, and that might have been a post that I was responding to, and they just said they was just like, man, just shut the fuck up. And I was like, I said, I'm gonna leave it alone this time, because it was funny. I don't know, somehow it was just funny to me. But sorry, my ironing board. But at the same time, y'all, sometimes you gotta be able to let some stuff go and just understand, like, especially like on their behalf, they're more involved than you guys are. Like, you inserted yourself, they were inserted. And let's say that is his woman. then yeah, she gonna ride for a dude. You don't get to say what that look like. Everybody coming for this man like that. Come on now. You can't, if you taking it to heart like that, then maybe you should take a step back, look at yourself and say, can I do better? Yeah, hell yeah, you can do better. Stop coming at that man like that. There's a way to think that he's suspicious and try to verify that he is or isn't without going as extra as y'all are. Come on, son. Get it together. And look at y'all. This is a bad look. From one content creator to all y'all who be fighting like this. This is a bad look. Don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Especially in true crime. Especially in true crime. Listen, y'all supposed to be out here trying to figure out who done it. What happened? You got families attached to this. The way all this stuff is like hitting off on Micah's family, it's hard to see. And I think too many people are not taking into consideration how this is just making it harder for them. They literally lost this woman that everybody seems to be talking about. Y'all do realize that, right? They literally lost this woman. They lost her. She belonged to them. Not even none of y'all. And so they gotta go through all this stuff and deal with the fighting, which is leading to people coming at them and being rude to them just because you support Kyla and all this other stuff. Like, y'all tripping. This is a bad look. Stop it. Cut it out. So what if you don't agree? You're not supposed to. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. If everybody's sitting here looking and seeing and saying the same thing, then we wouldn't get very far. Would we? Okay? We wouldn't get very far. We'll have the exact same layout. Okay, anybody got something else? Like what? We can't go nowhere with this. These people lost somebody, y'all. They lost somebody. Y'all disregarding their feelings, getting mad at them because they, making statements about who's working with them and where they want the information, the information should go to the authorities. It should. And if you want to CC Kyla in a separate email, but not really CC them, but CC them as in tell them to do that, but tell the authorities. And if somebody telling you not to give it to the authorities, only give it to them, they wrong. They out of pocket for that. That's just the way they. I don't care if you like them or not. They out of pocket for that, bro.
But respectful. I talk the way I want to talk. Now she's laughing in the comments. I talk the way I want to on my channel, but I don't disrespect people on theirs. Right. And I did not say one thing out of the way.
Right.
Not one thing. Nothing.
Because if you was on her channel, baby, from what I saw, this would have been a whole nother conversation. I said, the first day I was on Tasha page, she started cussing them people out in the comment section. I said, and I'm staying, okay? And I hit that subscribe button so fast. Ooh-wee. She had me. And every time I come back, she'll never disappoint.
Thing to have elicited that kind of response.
Do you know what's going to happen when people read that post of hers?
Yeah, I know exactly what's going to happen.
This is not.
Oh yeah,
okay.
he's gonna get more death. Yeah, he's gonna get more death threats. Yeah, exactly.
not
He
that.
probably had nothing
What
to
was
do
the
with it.
post?
This is another continuation of what Kyler did. It's no different.
Exactly.
That's another reason why content creators, we gotta make sure we're setting good examples. We gotta stop fighting You can't be attacking people just because you suspect them or just because they ain't behave the way you want them to, respond to you. Like, you can't do that because now look at your people. Look at your beehive or your, I don't know what y'all call yourself, the Kyla crew. Y'all be flying kites? Like, what's y'all motto? Cut it out. Don't do that. I'm just saying. I know you grown. You did. I do it. I want to. Don't cut shit. Cut shit. Oh, look at her face. She like, what the fuck? Let me see. What was it she posted, y'all?
She responded to emails. She said she'll send it to the PI.
Okay, so I think what people are upset about is instead of putting it on Facebook for everybody to see, just send it to the family and not say anything.
I did.
But is it on Facebook also?
No.
You just said it was in your post.
What's in my post?
That's
The
what I'm
post is
asking
about
you.
the
What did
connection
you post?
between JP and the fisherman.
Oh, that is on my TikTok, yeah.
Well, right, but I'm saying instead of putting it on there so everybody can get all riled up, just send it to the
Everybody's
family.
posting everything. Come on.
I'm not.
Okay, I get it. But again, that's why everybody shouldn't be involved in serious cases like this. Just because it's social media and you can, that don't mean you should. Because everybody don't know what to do and what not to do. And then you're going to argue about it. And somebody try to tell you different, you're going to argue about it. You're going to get mad. I just, you know what's playing on my TV right now? This roundtable discussion that some lawyers had that seemed to, some of them know Micah. I can't remember who all was on here. I know it was some lawyers, and one of them, I don't think they were her lawyer, but because I remember I seen it before. It is the lawyer, something, I can't, it's too far away. I ain't even gonna try. But I don't know if y'all seen that. It was a good discussion. In case you want to look it up on YouTube, but it's 4 ladies sitting at a table, and it's a lawyer channel, and they're having a discussion about the case, and it was a pretty well balanced discussion. So there's that. All right, stop the violence. So what was we looking for? Okay, so I don't see her giving any updates on the fisherman and that time. So I did post and ask her, did he come back and clarify that? That was what, a few days ago? So we should hear something. I'm pretty sure she'll respond. I would have thought we'd have had some kind of clarification on that by now. But I think this is a good place to end this video here. Let's take a look at this post. Okay, so in light of what I just read, I think I am going to go over that affidavit myself and just piece a couple of things together in another video, because this one is already long enough. So there you guys have the interview with the fisherman. I have requested for Natasha to fill us in on what's going on with that update on that timestamp. However, regardless of what, y'all keep in mind that the official investigation by law enforcement is on the other stuff they got going on. And it could be strategy. You know, it could be not just about them not wanting to, look into it or whatever. And when I say law enforcement, I'm not even talking about Robeson County. I think we passed. Oh, the Lovely Law Firm. That's the name of the ladies at the table. So I got close to the TV. I could see the Lovely Law Firm. Okay. Yeah, but I will be going over those documents because from what I'm hearing, I haven't listened to nobody read them either. I just got the summary that, she got custody, and that's good. I'm proud of her for doing that for them children, and I'm pretty sure it was hard for her to be able to accomplish keeping them safer and more away from JP all this time. But I saw a couple of things that I'm gonna share in reference to that type of situation over there with JP Miller. Did y'all listen to the interview that was, it was an interview. They were having a conversation over on Ethan's channel. Y'all listen to that? It was the PIs, and it was Micah's ex-father-in-law. A couple of randoms got up there, but for the most part, I believe it was a few PIs. I think I came in like almost halfway through the conversation. It was a good and productive conversation there for a good while. But the stuff that guy revealed, oh my goodness, y'all. Oh my goodness. So hit that like button, share it out. Y'all make sure y'all go and follow Natasha Cooper, aka True Crime Queen. That's her new channel over on TikTok. I'm not sure about what's going to happen on Rumble, but if you happen to go to Rumble, you would still see some of her old content. It's still up. I found that interesting.